Okay, hello and welcome back, mainly to me. Um, I've been dealing with stuff personally, and it's just something had to go, and unfortunately, that was live streaming. Partially because I was sick. I got sick like right before Christmas, and just when I thought I was done, I got sick again. And then there was one time I was going to stream and itch was down, and that's how I play Heart of the Woods, is through itch. And so I couldn't. And then before that, I was just dealing with stuff in November that was affecting me mentally and emotionally, and I just wasn't in the right headspace to stream, especially a game that's about a ghost. But that's not to say I wasn't doing anything. We got a new kitten the beginning of November. Mom named her Patches, and she's a cutie patootie. And the very end of her tail, there was definitely something wrong. So when we took her to the vet looked at it and said, bring her back in about a week, and we'll check and we'll see how it's doing, and if it's not better, then we're going to have to amputate it. So we took her back, and they did have to amputate the tail, because she wasn't, how cats, they're able to lift their entire tail and move it around. Hi, Karinika. There you go. And that just wasn't the case. The very tip of her tail was basically dead. So they had to amputate it to ensure that it wouldn't extend further down the tail and possibly to the rest of her. So she has about 2/3 of what would have been her natural tail. And it didn't slow her down one bit. She's probably the most rambunctious, most playful kitten we've ever had. And we've had quite a few. The end of next month, gosh, is it almost February already? She's going in to get fixed so that we don't have to worry about her getting pregnant or anything. We always do that when we get pets. We always make sure that they're fixed. Whether that's spaying or neutering, we take care of it, because there's enough unwanted pregnancies out there that we're not going to add to it. But she's about 5 months old now. I think next month we'll make 6, which sounds about right for getting fixed, especially for a female cat. My twin, she bought I forget what kind of a dog she is, but she bought a dog, and she didn't schedule her the operation soon enough, so the dog went into heat, and so she had to basically put a diaper on the dog until she was done with the heat. And even when she took the dog in to get fixed, the dog wasn't quite done, so they had to deal with that. And so it was a little extra cost because the dog still was in estrus or whatever. She got another dog while she was up in Idaho. I don't know if she's taken care of that already. But anyway, I honestly don't remember exactly what was going on when I finished off the last stream, but I'm pretty sure we were getting into parts of the story that weren't in the demo, because I know I played the demo. Yeah, so chapter 2, final warning. Yeah, October 29th, and it's almost February. So almost fully, let's see, October to November, November to December, December to January, so almost 3 months since I last streamed. Thank you, brain. That's right, they were sitting and talking in the church, and she was reading to Abigail. She found out the girl's name is Abigail. Once it starts getting dark, we say our goodbyes and part ways at the church. Same as when we first met, she watches me go until she vanishes from sight. As I head back towards the cabin, my head is swimming. Or maybe drowning. It's hard to think of anything but Abigail, all alone in the middle of the forest for centuries. What's her story? I want to know, but I doubt I ever will. Yeah, Abigail is mute, but she can clearly hear, because she's able to have a conversation with Maddie, I think is her name. Yet I'm already looking forward to seeing her again, even though in the back of my mind I'm aware that Tara and I will only be here a few more weeks. It seems almost cruel, knowing that this is all so short-lived. If I were her, would I rather have a few weeks of happiness just to lose it again, or never have anything at all? The question makes my head and heart hurt. The walk back feels like it goes by much quicker than my journey to the clearing and then the church. As I get closer to the cabin, I can see that the windows are dark. Tara must be in town or out with Morgan somewhere. Yeah, quick reminder, I don't know if people have been keeping up, but Tara has a vlog that she does, and Maddie is sort of manager and the tech guru and everything to help her out with it, and this is the last thing they'll do together, because Maddie's had enough and is like, I'm done. And Morgan is the one who actually wrote and asked them to come and investigate, basically, the supernatural phenomenon. And the blog is called Paranormal or something like that. And apparently Tara and Morgan have a thing going now, which was eventually going to happen, apparently. This happens a lot. I wonder if she noticed I was gone. My musing is interrupted by the sudden sound of footsteps in the snow. The mayor steps out from behind a tree, just like Abigail did earlier. This is Morgan's mother.
Good evening, Madison.
Dagger smile.
Evening, Miss Mayor.
Where have you been?
I freeze. Her tone is sharp, with no pretense of being conversational. Her glare is even sharper. Does she know about Abigail, or about the forest spirit? Surely she would have mentioned it, if so. The locals are surprisingly tight-lipped about that sort of thing, especially to outsiders, I guess you could call it. My mind reels while I solve for time.
I was out for a walk in the forest.
I'm bad at lying, so I try to just tell her half-truths.
I can see that. Where did you go?
Aww. Yeah, one of our cats, he was attacked by dogs. He was an indoor-outdoor cat, and he just never really recovered. And so my parents, I think it was my dad mostly, took him to the vet to have him put down, basically. And while the vet was examining him one more time, he just gone. But yeah, Patch's tail is definitely more than just a couple inches left. She's got most of it. She can still chase it and even manages to catch it, because Mom was watching her chase her tail yesterday, and she apparently managed to catch it, so it's long enough for that.
Around. I was just walking around. Needed the fresh air.
Alone? Where's your friend? Or my daughter?
With each question she asks, she takes a nearly imperceptible step closer. I shrug, trying to look indifferent. I don't think it's working. Talking cat that doesn't want to talk? Yes, it's this. The previous videos are available on my YouTube channel. Every time I'm putzing around on YouTube and I go to my page, there's the playlist taunting me with the fact that I haven't played it, and it's like, fine, I'll play it.
I'm not sure. Tara and I had an argument earlier. I wanted to be alone.
An argument? Regarding what?
Is it really any of your business, lady? She's far too close for comfort now, close enough that she could reach out and grab me by the throat if she wanted to. Still, I'm so taken aback by the nerve for asking about my personal issues that my voice comes out stronger than I could have hoped for.
I'm sorry, but I'm not comfortable talking about it.
Good, so I'm not the only one who thought it was rather a personal question to ask. The mayor regards me for a long moment. Her nostrils flare. I meet her gaze and don't look away, even though I desperately want to. I half expect her tongue to shoot out and taste the air like a snake. Feels as if she can see right through me. I'm almost certain that she knows I'm hiding something from her. More than just my argument with Tara. Tara?
I see.
She flips her hair and walks past me, heading into the forest.
Be careful, Madison. The woods are dangerous on your own.
Not ominous at all. I stand there, hard in my throat, until the sound of snow under her feet fades into silence. Shuddering, I hurry the rest of the way to the cabin. Oh, are we actually going to do this from Tara's point of view? A bright burst of light jerks me awake. I groan, getting ready to toss a pillow at Maddie and demand she turn the light back off. It's so bright it hurts when I try to open my eyes. But when I do, I realize the light is coming from the window, and it's not a window I recognize. I should probably save. The color changed. Hi, James. And another bot. That's the second time I've gotten a bot like that. Oops, scroll back. Uh-oh. We're just starting to stir next to me, an adorable little smile on her face. It's so cute that for a minute it distracts me from the fact that she's completely naked. It takes another second for me to realize that I am too. I mean, we knew that it was heading this direction. Ink the covers up to my chest to, well, cover myself. Memories of last night start to come back in bits and pieces. We'd been going over notes about something, and admittedly I might have gotten a little flirty. The next thing I know, we're kissing, books are on the floor, I hear papers crumpling underneath my butt. And once I said yes, she couldn't even wait to get to the bed before she started undressing me. It's not that I'm complaining, but it was definitely the last possible way I thought she'd respond. At least now I remember why I'm sore. It isn't long before Morgan opens her eyes as well. The rest of her face doesn't move as she wakes up. She sleeps with that same blank face she has when she's awake. If you remember Maddie and Abigail in the church, then no, you didn't miss anything. I mean, there was definitely implications that Tara and Morgan were gonna go this direction. Yeah, this is the first time we've seen anything from Tara's point of view.
Good morning, Tara.
Tara, excuse me. Her voice seems a little different. Softer, maybe? I have no idea, but it's kind of nice.
Hey, yeah. Good morning.
Cringe at the sound of my own voice. That was way too loud. I need to do a better job of keeping my cool.
How'd you sleep?
Better than I have in a long time.
I smile.
Although you do snore. Loudly.
I try not to let my smile break. I mean, she's right, but only when I lay on my back. I try to think back a long list of awkward morning afters and pick out a good comeback. Everything grinds to a halt as soon as I feel her lips pressed against my side. It's just a tiny peck to kind of give a cute fan, but she also blows a tiny puff of hot air onto my skin that makes me shiver. I can feel my face turning as red as my hair, and no, a comeback's not happening. Hang on. These are the only options. Control the burn button. No indication if there's a way to affect how spicy it gets. Sound, Okay. Loving Tara's voice. Her voice seems a little loud to me, but maybe it's because I'm the one with the headphones in.
Tara, are you okay?
I need to say something to get back on top of this mess, but all I can do is stare down at her, those bright green eyes, that soft face, that misty orange hair.
Tara?
Oh, sorry. I was just thinking that, well, you're cute.
Aww. Hey, I've had worse lines. I can't see her face, but I think I hear her chuckle, or something like it. I should probably get up too, but I can't help taking a minute to stare. Maddie always gets on me for being thirsty, but I think I earned it this time. Her curves, her muscles, she's like someone asked me every last detail about what my type was and turned her real. This village is a dream come true. My clothes are spread across the floor, and it takes a minute to hunt them all down once I'm out of bed. Actually, that's how they usually are at home, too. I've got more important things than clothes to keep in my dresser. I used to be really bad about keeping my room neat, and then I went to college. And it was just out of respect for my roommates that I started doing that, just kind of keeping everything contained and as tidy as possible. I mean, it's kind of an organized chaos in some respects, but I'm actually better about keeping my room clean, aside from needing to vacuum and dust all the time. Morgan's already dressed by the time I get everything together, with her hair back in its usual pigtails. Cute as they are, I kind of miss how it looked down.
Hey, so,
Oh, the poster! There we go. Yeah, my brother doesn't bother with using the drawers. He has a captain's bed. He doesn't bother putting his clothes in drawers. He just tosses them on his bed. His clothes are always wrinkled. Drives me nuts.
Is something wrong?
your mom isn't home, right? I'm pretty sure she won't be happy if she sees me coming out of your room first thing in the morning.
Oh, you don't want to do the walk of shame? Come on.
You made enough noise last night that she'd know anyway. I don't think she's going to do anything about it.
So you're saying Tara is noisy?
Oh,
I feel like I'm burning up, but her expression is the same as ever. She's not even trying to be smooth, and she's still better at it than I am, and I'm already really good. You sure don't sound like it right now, Tara.
great. Yeah, cool. Glad we don't have to worry.
I'm going to go make some coffee for us. That's my bra, by the way.
No wonder it felt so loose. She's out the door, leaving me to search for more clothing and think about the conversation Morgan and I are gonna have to have when she gets back. Oh boy. I'm still thinking about what I want to say when she returns with the coffee. It's already chugging hers down. Yes, it's spicy.
I usually make it strong, but I put plenty of cream and sugar in yours, so you should be fine.
There we go. There's a paranormal poster. I think, is it supposed to be a rainbow? Was that a hint?
I normally take it black, actually.
I saw your daily routine video. I know how you take your coffee.
I don't even know why I'm bothering with the usual cool routine at this point. I should just accept that I'm beat. I take a tiny sip of the coffee and nearly fall back down on the bed. Even with cream and sugar, this is the strongest thing I've ever tasted. She drinks this black? I don't like coffee, so I don't even drink it. I've never liked the smell of it, and I've tried it, and even with creamer in it, no thank you. Yeah, pride instead of the 7. I'm just used to associating rainbows with supporting queer people.
Is it too much? I can put some liquor in it if you want.
Isn't it like 8 in the morning?
Yes. Why do you ask?
I sigh and take another bitter sip. The last thing I need right now, excuse me, is alcohol. I'm not that big a fan of tea either, though I can, if it's like flavored tea, like raspberry tea or something like that, I like that better than coffee.
Hey, so I think we need to talk.
Sure, what about?
I'm not sure if she doesn't know or doesn't care about what I'm going to say, but from the way she's acted so far, I'm pretty sure it's the second one. Now, if I need caffeine, I drink soda. But I've learned, you'd think I would have learned not to drink it after a certain time, but I still had soda last night after dinner, and I did not sleep well. I did manage to get to sleep, and then I woke up because I was too hot. So I was moving around to set up my fan so that I would have a breeze. And my cat heard me, and I've started keeping the cats out of my room at night, because if I don't, then Patches decides she wants to get up on my desk, and I don't want her getting up on my desk. But Shadow, my cat, heard me moving around, so he started pawing at the door, so I let him in for a bit, because I needed something, because I couldn't get back to sleep. I needed to eat something, so I had some crackers. So while I was eating those, he came in and wandered around and got some pets. And then eventually he left, so then I closed the door. I was able to get back to sleep. I usually just drink one soda a day. And it's usually with my lunch. But it's how it helps me manage my ADHD. Otherwise, I would have trouble focusing. Because I'm not taking any medicine. I should, but I'm not taking anything for it. I did for a while, and oh my gosh. I just haven't... I went off the meds and I haven't gotten back on them. Well, we do have carpets in the bedrooms, but the rest of our house is laminate flooring with rugs. And she's learned not to scratch those, or we're training her not to scratch those. And we do have scratching posts for the cats to use, and usually Shadow and Phoebe are good about those. We just have to train Patches not to scratch the furniture. Oh, Shadow would cuddle, but the moment I shifted position, he'd leave.
Look, you're a really great person. I really like hanging out with you, and I had a great time last night.
I know.
She needs to stop making me blush. I probably look the same way Mads does every time I try to introduce her to a cute girl.
I just want to make sure we're clear on what that was all about. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I mean, I'm not really the dating type, and I'm gonna be leaving in a month. I'm happy to do stuff like this as long as it's...
Tara,
She doesn't sound frustrated or upset. If anything, her voice is softer.
we talked about this exact thing last night. You're cute, you're fun, and I really enjoyed having sex with you. But that's all this is, and neither of us expect or want anything different. You don't have to give me any excuses.
Blunt as ever, she takes another sip of coffee as I breathe a sigh of relief. All that worrying for nothing.
Great! Awesome, cool. Yeah, I'm glad that's settled then.
I should feel relieved, relaxed, all that good stuff. With the rough part out of the way, I could go right back to being as intrepid and charming as always. So why do I feel like I'm the one who got let down here? And this kind of thing shouldn't bother me, even if it didn't go the way it means to. This is why I hate taking time to think about things. If you ask me, she should take time to think about things more often.
So, did you make that sweater yourself?
Morgan's eyes widen at my question. Looks like I found a good way to move on.
I did, actually. My ex showed me how to knit a few years ago, and I've been doing it ever since. It's a nice way to pass the time. If you want, I could make you something to take home when you're done here.
That'd be super cool. Everyone I know wears coats like Maddie's, or one of those big puffy marshmallow coats. I'm sure some hand-knit stuff would break the mold.
The fact that you insist on going investigating in nothing but a light jacket made me assume you didn't like coats in general.
Maybe I was just waiting to get in on the hip cool fashion trend.
This conversation sounds familiar. I think I read a snippet. Catch her smiling in between sips. She might act different, but I get the feeling that we're on the same wavelength for some things. I mean, obviously, since we ended up together, but still. Well, not together, of course, but...
I thought it was because of your shirt. You wear that same moon shirt in every vlog you do. I didn't expect it to be the same way in real life.
Calling out the fact that they always wear the same clothes.
It was actually Maddie's idea, believe it or not. Something about having a visual brand for the sake of the show. I figured my winning smile would be enough, but... I mean, as long as people like it.
I didn't realize she was that invested in the show. I figured she didn't care that much.
Ouch. Hearing her mention how distant Maddie seems is a pretty painful reminder of how much things have fallen apart between us.
She used to be. Back when we started, she was a lot more invested in this whole thing. We've been inseparable since high school, and I figured she was really excited to keep that bond going strong.
That's pretty incredible. I don't think I've had any friendships that lasted more than a year.
How to make a plot point out of a limited budget. Yep, sounds about right. Rose says she hasn't mentioned a single friend since we got here. I guess claiming your cat talks to you probably doesn't score you points with anyone other than me.
Oh yeah, it's been like around 10 years or something. Don't tell her I told you this, but we actually met because we were both total goths.
I jump when Morgan suddenly bursts into laughter. I've only known her for about a week, but feels weirdly unlike her. Probably because it's the most emotion she's shown since we met, and that includes last night.
I can't imagine Maddie walking around with raccoon eyes and dyed hair.
You have no idea. She was goth enough to put me to shame. Always talking about the darkness in her soul. Chilling with all other cool goth kids, calling herself Raven. It was great.
You were part of a group? Do you keep in touch with any of them? I'd hope at least one of them kept the look.
My smile fades as I look away from her. She couldn't have known that asking that would bring back bad memories, so I don't blame her, but the memories are still there.
Not really. Most of them stopped talking to me when I told them I was trans, and the rest bailed as soon as I started to actually transition.
Oh, interesting.
Maddie was the only one who really stuck up for me. I'll never forget that.
Morgan puts down her now empty mug. I'm not even halfway through mine.
I'm so sorry, Tara. I didn't mean to.
Nah, forget it. It's seriously okay. The whole thing is ancient history now.
That isn't a lie. I feel a hell of a lot better about the whole thing now that I know I'm doing way better than any of them. I can tell Morgan doesn't buy it though. Better switch up the subject.
Anyway, after that, the two of us were inseparable all through high school. We even picked the same college so it'd be easier to stay in touch. The only time our friendship was ever on the rocks was... well, maybe we shouldn't talk about that.
I try not to grin when I see Morgan's eyes widen. Got him.
You wouldn't say that if you weren't going to tell me.
Well, I don't know.
She leaves her mug on the table and moves closer to me. I definitely saw her smile for a second there.
The Tara I know would never pass up a chance to tell a story.
Well, if you insist. Maddie and I actually dated once, for a few weeks, back when we first started college. Everyone we knew was pairing off, so we figured we should try it too. It's our secret shame.
I'm not surprised. You two would make a terrible couple.
Jeez, blunt much? You're not wrong, though. It nearly killed our friendship. Thankfully, we called it off and went back to being friends. We haven't had any trouble since.
Yeah, pairing off just because everyone else is pairing off is not a good reason to get with somebody. And some people just work better as friends than anything else.
Until now.
Yeah, until now.
So much for lightening the mood.
I don't know. I guess her deciding to walk away from everything we built together doesn't exactly make me feel jazzed about our friendship.
Her having different priorities doesn't have anything to do with friendship.
What, like going back to school? She hated school. So either that's some bullshit excuse, or she just hates working on paranormal even more.
She was talking about coming back. Having real proof seems to have changed her mind.
And then what? She goes along with it for another few months and gets sick of it. I can't deal with that again.
I can tell I'm getting louder, but I don't care. I haven't had a chance to let any of this out since it happened. Morgan, of course, doesn't even flinch.
The thing is,
Now she's acting like she wants to be in on the action again? Am I really supposed to believe that she wants to commit to this?
Yeah, I think she needs to vent here.
but she...
I'm not an idiot. It's not like I'm ignoring the fact that she keeps running off to the woods to be by herself. I'm supposed to just be cool with that?
Tara,
I'm so sick of all this bullshit. Maybe I'd just be better off without her.
Tara!
I jump as her voice drowns mine out completely. Burst of emotion isn't funny. It's honestly kind of terrifying.
Stop. Just stop. You have no idea what you're talking about. You don't want Maddie to leave the show, but you're refusing to listen to her when she talks about coming back. You don't want to lose your friendship, but you're freezing her out when she tries to make connections again. I love your show. You know I do. But there are more important things in your life than talking about Bigfoot in front of a camera.
Holy shit, what the hell was that? Some real fucking truth. You're not listening to Maddie anymore, so it needs to come from someone else. And it just so happens to be Morgan, who probably knows Tara best after watching the show for so much. She just shot through my bullshit like some kind of forest-dwelling therapist. How am I supposed to respond to that? All I can do is sit back down on the bed and let it wash over me. She sits down next to me and takes my hand in hers. She gives it a little squeeze, and I squeeze back. I can already feel myself starting to calm down. When Morgan speaks again, her voice is back to its normal flatness.
Talk to her. Tell her how you feel and what you need. You can't spend your whole time with me and expect her to feel appreciated.
I don't want to leave you out, though. You're the whole reason we're here. Plus, I really like spending time with you.
I do too. But we'll have plenty of time together. You're here for an entire month.
Yeah, of course.
The word month makes me feel a weird little pain in my chest. For some reason, I don't want to think about how temporary this is. I let go of her hand to take another sip of coffee. It's very lukewarm now, and I consider just putting it back into the cup. That definitely wouldn't be a good look, though.
Do you want me to take you back to the cabin?
I think I'm gonna do a little more investigating here first. Give myself some time to think about what I want to say to Mads.
That's a good idea.
Hey, first time for everything.
She lets out another little laugh. It's not nearly as big as her earlier one, but it's really nice to hear it after all that heavy stuff.
I'll go set up shop then. Come see me when you want to ride back.
You got it.
I stand and stretch, scanning the room one more time to see if I'm forgetting anything.
Wait, are those my panties?
Yeah, you're wearing mine.
Try to will myself not to blush, determined not to let her get one more fluster in.
Shit, sorry. I can change real quick.
It's fine. You can wear them. Just give them back when you're done.
I'm sorry, that is a little... no. No, we do not share underwear. Bras, one thing, but panties, very different. My cheeks are burning again. So much for that.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I guess I'll see you later then.
Sure. You know where to find me.
Without thinking, I lean forward and press my lips against hers. They're soft, somehow not nearly dried out by the cold air as mine are. Wait, why am I doing this? I jerk my head away, expecting to be met with an angry glare. But all I see is the corners of her mouth switch up for a split second before she's back to neutral. Could be worse, right? Either way, it's definitely time for me to get the hell out of here. I head for the door, but something stops me before I actually leave.
Thank you.
Anytime.
I don't know what I'm thanking her for. I'm not sure if she knows either. I'm out the door and back out into the village square, doing my best to leave my confusion behind me. I've got more important things to think about right now. Yeah, besides, underwear, it's a very specific fit, and, yeah. I gotta think about what I'm gonna say to Matt. Tell her I'm sorry for being an idiot, and I don't want this to screw up things more than it already has. But as I think about that, I realize I've got one more problem when it comes to her. If she finds out I slept with our host, she's gonna kill me. Oh, Morgan's turn. Okay. Corruption. Huh. Interesting. I like how the other stuff changes color too. The cabin comes into view. It's warm and casts a glow on the snow. I keep my steady pace. It's been a while since Tara and I talked. Things still aren't fixed. They've improved. She's getting Maddie's help filming now. I can still see that distance between them. It doesn't help that Maddie keeps choosing to stay behind when we go to the village. Her excuses are always flimsy, but Tara doesn't push it. I'm not sure if she wants to. I'm not entirely sure what to do. I never expected this to be easy, but now it's gotten complicated in a way that I couldn't have predicted. I wish I could help, but I'm afraid that intervening any more than I already have would make things worse. Maddie still doesn't trust me, despite everything. Thanks for showing up, James. You have a good day. I have to believe it's not too late. I need both of them fully committed before I can tell them why they're really here. Oh. Oh. So there's definitely more going on. At the cabin, I enter without knocking.
It again.
I've tried it like 6 times, Mads. I don't know what else you're expecting here.
Hello there.
They both look up from what they were doing. It's not a surprising scene. Tara's hunched over her laptop in the living room while Maddie stands nearby looking ready to hit her. I don't think either of them noticed me entering.
Hi.
Hey!
While Maddie seems annoyed at my interruption, Tara seems genuinely happy. Whether that's for the distraction or because it's me, I'm not sure. I walk over and sit down beside Tara, placing myself between her and Maddie.
Check this out.
She angles her laptop so that I can see it and presses play on a video. There's some distorted noise, but the screen stays black.
What am I supposed to be looking at?
Exactly.
Somehow exasperated, Maddie throws up her hands and storms off into the kitchen, banging around the cupboards without actually doing anything.
This was the footage that we took the other night. Remember? With the spirit and stuff?
I remember.
Yeah, well, it was totally fine a few days ago. We watched it a billion times, so you know as well as I do.
Right. It was perfectly visible then.
But now...
She plays the clip again. Nothing but noise. It's worthless now.
So what happened?
Beats me. That's what we're trying to figure out.
Maddie slams the cabinet particularly loudly.
What happened
What Maddie thinks happened...
is that the file got corrupted somehow. Either when you exported it or when it was transferring or something.
But it was working fine before. Seriously, ask Morgan.
She points at me. I wish you wouldn't bring me into it like this, since it'll seem like I'm taking a side.
The video did work before, yes.
Great, that helps us a lot.
Isn't there a backup somewhere?
This was supposed to be the backup. I thought I'd uploaded it to our server too, but I guess the Wi-Fi cut out, and that didn't actually happen.
Tara bites her lip.
That one's on me.
I'm expecting another sardonic reply from Maddie, but to my surprise, she sits down across from us and sighs.
Well, we can't change it now.
It seems that Tara's admission of guilt, even partial, helped her calm down some. Calm her down. That second her doesn't need to be there.
Was that the only footage that was affected?
I didn't check. Can't see why anything else would be screwed up, though. We just got unlucky. Super unlucky.
That's a bit of an understatement. Without that footage, we don't have anything to show.
I want to tell her that there will be plenty more opportunities for filming the spirit, and likely other equally remarkable creatures, but I know that she won't believe me. Yet. Geladora warned me this would probably happen, as if I hadn't already known. But Geladora also didn't help my case at all, since she said she didn't know if she could trust them yet. Oh. I feel like we have met Geladora. Oh, the cat. The cat. Pretty sure it's the cat. That was 3 months ago. Give me a break. I wish you would have told me that before I made a fool of myself in front of them both. Tara laughs, but it sounds forced.
Guess we'll have to take some new footage then. Morgan, you don't have any other mystical spirits sitting around that we could film, do ya?
Funnily enough, I do. Thank you, Karinika. Karinika. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm as bad as Jake. Ah! I just smiled, though, going along with the joke. For some reason, Maddie tugs at her collar and looks away out the window. Perhaps she's more uncomfortable around me than I thought. Or perhaps she's thinking of Abigail.
Can I borrow your laptop? I'll see if I can move the file to my computer. And maybe salvage something.
You really think that'll work?
No, but I'd like to try.
Aww. She's trying.
Sure thing.
She lifts the laptop over me and passes it to Maddie.
Thanks. I'll be in my room. Let me know if you need anything.
She leaves, taking Tara's laptop with her. She pushes her bedroom door, but doesn't close it all the way. Beside me, Tara places her hand over mine. It's not anything that Maddie would be able to see from her room. Not sure why Tara's so insistent on keeping our relationship a secret. Still, I appreciate the gesture. Of everything that's happened since the two of them arrived here, getting close to Tara like this has certainly been the most unexpected.
It seems like things are a bit better between the two of you. Did you talk?
I make sure to keep my voice low.
Not yet. I was going to, but first Nats wasn't home, then she was shut in her room all day when she got back. I was going to bring it up today, but then all this stuff happened.
At least the two of you are talking a little. She must be feeling bad too.
Yeah, I didn't even consider that the voice might be deeper for a reason, because I have a naturally deep voice and I'm not trans. But my family is kind of like that way. We all kind of have lower voices. So obviously having the deeper voice doesn't necessarily mean a woman is trans. It's just sometimes it's a hint, but not always guaranteed.
Maybe. You should have heard her before you got here, though.
I'm sorry.
Nah, don't be. It's like you said, this is on both of us.
You really don't know what happened to the footage? I promise I won't tell Maddie anything.
Nope, it's 100% legit. It was working fine, and then it wasn't. I didn't even drop my computer or spill water on it this time.
This time.
That's so strange.
You're telling me. Mads is convinced I did something to screw it up, though.
Voice train. I haven't had any voice train. I'm usually pretty good at mimicking voices, but I don't think I could mimic Tara's voice. I'm usually better at accents, to tell the truth. I have a niggling suspicion in the back of my mind, but I don't want to bring it up yet. I don't want to alarm Tara if I can help it.
Has anyone...
Right in the middle of my sentence, the heater in the corner of the room makes a sizzling noise and then dies. Tara and I both stare at it.
Did you see that?
I did.
God!
Clutching her head in her hands, Tara gets up and goes to inspect the heater. She looks around and underneath it, although it's clear she has no idea what she's actually looking for. While her back is turned, I take a moment to peer out the window, scanning for anyone or anything out of the ordinary. I don't see anything.
What happened?
Heater died. Check it out.
Wait, you're kidding me.
I wish.
Already the cold is starting to set in.
Was it a short circuit or something?
Yeah, so this is why I'm never going to live somewhere cold. I don't like being cold. And just living somewhere where it's constantly cold? No. I was born and raised here in Southern California, and I will always prefer warmer weather. But not super hot. I don't like being hot either. I like being in the middle. I'm glad that she doesn't default to blaming Tara for this. My suspicion gets a little stronger too.
No clue. Morgan and I were sitting here when it suddenly died. Didn't give any warning or anything. It was a lot like the...
She trails off. She doesn't need to finish the sentence. I'm sure we're all thinking the same thing.
like the footage.
She says it anyway. Of course she does. None of us say anything. Then Maddie chuckles nervously.
That's a pretty weird coincidence.
Do you two think that, like, they're connected somehow?
What, the heater and the footage? There's no way that could be. It's just bad luck.
Maybe.
She gives me a look that says she doesn't think it's random. I'm inclined to agree.
Any luck with saving the video so far?
Not yet, but I just started. Give me a bit.
Right. I'm gonna go grab a blanket. You want one, Morgan?
No thanks.
What the hell?
2 seconds after she's entered her bedroom, Tara yells and pops back out.
The heater in my room is dead too!
What?
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. Come look if you want.
Maddie and I both hurry into Tara's room. Sure enough, the little heater in here is dead, as dead as the one in the living room. Yeah, I'm not used to houses having separate heaters in every room, because our house has central heating and air. But I know there are houses that actually have like radiators in almost every room, especially back east. Yeah, I watched one of my favorite movies growing up was The Happiest Millionaire, and that big mansion, there's radiators in like every room.
Were they on the same breaker? This cabin must have ancient wiring, right?
No, it was renovated a couple years ago.
Is the one in your room still working, Mads?
Without waiting for an answer, Tara pushes past and goes to look, ignoring Maddie's feeble clamor against barging in. We follow behind Tara yet again. In Maddie's room, the heater is running fine.
That's so unfair!
Maddie frowns too, looking perplexed.
I don't get it. Why just in here?
That's a pretty weird coincidence.
Tara does a poor imitation of Maddie's voice.
It is! What else do you want me to say?
Grumbling, Tara leaves the room without giving an actual answer. Maddie doesn't try to stop her and stares at her perfectly functional heater. I shut the bedroom door behind me as I leave.
Okay, tell me I'm not crazy. Something weird is going on.
You're not crazy. This definitely isn't a coincidence.
You say that like you know what's going on.
I can feel a pit opening up in my stomach. I've never been good with words, and I'm not sure how to phrase everything I'm about to tell her, much less how she'll take it. I must struggle for too long because I can see Tara's expression go from mopey to concerned.
Hey, you okay? I was just kidding, but like, do you actually know what's up?
I press a finger to my lips and point to Tara's room. Her eyes go wide, but she nods. I lead the way with her following close behind.
We can talk now.
Tara looks like she's going to explode.
Now? What the hell? That was like something out of a spy movie.
Really?
Shh, not so loud.
I listen for any indication that Maddie's followed behind us or is eavesdropping, but her door never opens. Tara watches, waiting for me to elaborate, but I can tell it's taking every ounce of self-control she has to not barrage me with questions. It's understandable.
Okay, bear with me, because I'm not sure how to say some of this.
Nearly vibrating with excitement, Tara nods. I take a deep breath.
I don't think that all these malfunctions are a coincidence. I think they're intentional sabotage, and that my mother's to blame.
Her eyes get as wide as saucers.
Your mom?
Yes, and I also think that Maddie might be involved too. It's not her fault at all. I'm afraid that my mother might have gotten to her first. She might not even know it.
gotten to her how?
Right?
As in, she's not in control of her actions. She might not even be aware of them.
You mean like mind control?
Hypnosis?
More or less, yes.
She stares at me and then starts to laugh. She gets up and paces around the room, her hands flying in useless motions as she laughs.
Okay. Okay, you're screwing with me, right? Mind control. Maddie!
I'm not messing with you. I'm dead serious.
Can't blame her for being incredulous. It's a lot to take in at once, and the rest of what I have to say is even stranger. But if there's anyone who will believe me, who will believe the truth, it's Tara. Her laugh becomes a whistle as she calms down. She takes a second to compose herself, and then sits on the bed next to me.
Okay, mind control. Go on.
Like I said, I doubt Maddie's even aware. It's probably more like sleepwalking for her, but it would make sense. You said she's been spending a lot of time away from the cabin, right? And that she doesn't like to talk about where she's been. Plus the footage being damaged, and then the heaters dying. It makes sense.
You're gonna have to sell me on this more. I wouldn't say that makes sense. What's the point of it? Why would your mom do that, and how? Like we haven't even approached the point of making sense.
I know. I'll explain.
I'm trying to remain calm myself, but there's a nervousness that I've never felt before. This is my first time ever talking about this with someone else. No matter how many times I would imagine this conversation and rehearse it in my head, it's nothing like real life. True! I practice stuff in my head, but it never plays out that way when I actually get to the point of saying it.
My mom isn't really my mom. To be frank, she's not even human. Not anymore.
Huh? I pause, waiting to see how Tara takes it. No reaction. I doubt that anything I'm saying even registers as a possibility to her. My only choice is to go through it all and hope that she believes me in the end.
The person you've met, the creature, is something else, using a human woman's body as a host.
So maybe Maddie wasn't so far off imagining Evelyn as a snake.
She has the whole town under a glamour that makes them loyal to her, and she has for years. Longer than I've been alive. I think she has Maddie now, too.
I'm gonna have to disagree there. But that's because we know what's going on with Maddie and she doesn't.
The reason that I sent you an email and invited you to Eisenfeld isn't because of the forest spirit or any of that other stuff, although it's related too. The reason is because I need your help. Evelyn, or the thing inside her, is going to try to kill me soon, to use me as a new host, within the next few weeks. You were the only people in the world who I could think of who might believe me. There wasn't anyone else I could ask. She knows that too, which is why she's trying to get rid of you now. Ruin your trip, make you want to leave. She would never hurt either of you. Too many people would notice if something happened. There'd be way too much unwanted attention on her. But if she could get the two of you to leave Eisenfeld, then she'd be able to proceed with her plans. I'm pretty sure that's what she's trying to do, through Maddie. That's it, I guess.
As I finish speaking, I look down at my legs. It feels like a weight has been lifted off of my chest. If nothing else, I'm glad that I got to tell someone. I know this is a bit of a reach, but it's kind of taking me back to Dragon Age Origins, the thing with Flemeth and Morrigan. Except, Flemeth eventually told Morrigan that she was never in any danger from Flemeth, because Flemeth wanted willing hosts. I don't think that's the case here. Even if nothing changes, at least I got to share my story. If she doesn't believe me, if she thinks I'm as crazy as Maddie does, then I'm out of options. The sigh stretches on, and I glance up at Tara's face. For someone usually so expressive and easy to read, her face is immutable. I can't tell what she's thinking. She just stares at me intensely, more scrutinizing than I've ever seen before. I meet her eyes, willing her to search mine and see that I'm telling the truth. I want to reach across and grab her hand. More than that, I want her to grab mine. Tara huffs, blowing a loose strand of hair that's fallen over her face. She blinks, pops her knuckles, scratches her leg. Then finally she half smiles.
Okay, so then what do we do now?
Does that mean that you believe me?
My breath catches in my throat, scarcely daring to believe it. She hasn't confirmed yet. She could just be playing along.
Of course I do.
That's the same song that was playing earlier. During the Tara POV part. Can't help myself. I lean forward and wrap my arms around her in a very selfish hug.
I'm so sorry for dragging you into all of this.
She doesn't deserve any of what's going on. I brought her into my own world of problems. Her arms wrap back around me without hesitation. No, this could just be wishful thinking, but I think there's going to be more happening between them. And either Tara's going to stay in Eisenfeld or Morgan's going to leave Eisenfeld with Tara.
Hey, I'm glad you did.
Really?
Of course! If some other paranormal blog got this scoop, I'd be jealous forever.
We both laugh.
But I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot to take in, especially the stuff about Mads. But if never coming here would have meant you having to deal with all this on your own, then it's a damn good thing we're here.
For the first time that I can remember, I feel warm and comfortable. It's a moment that I wish could last forever. I don't deserve her support, but I'm infinitely glad that I have it.
Now let's go kick your mom's ass!
I laugh again. I'm glad that she's able to keep a light heart through all of this. We're going to need it.
Really though, what do we do now? Pack our stuff and get out of here? You could totally crash with me and Mads. I'm sure she wouldn't mind. You'd have to get past that whole mind control thing first though.
No. Running away isn't an option. She would just take someone else instead. She has to be dealt with.
That makes sense.
You said it'll happen in a couple weeks, right? How do you know?
It'll happen on the winter solstice. It's something to do with the moon. I don't really know the specifics myself. There's not a whole lot of information to go off.
You're in luck, because investigating stuff without a real lead is my speciality.
She's incorrigible and her smile is infectious. Her optimism and confidence makes me think that this might work out okay after all. Yeah, I can definitely see how these two would work as a couple. So it'll be interesting to see what does happen between them. Or doesn't.
There'll be plenty of time for that, I promise. Right now, I should head back home.
Already? Feels like you just got here a bit ago.
I know. I wish I could stay longer. But I need to start preparing right away. There's a lot that I'll need to fill you in on. But it'll take some time for me to get ready.
So, like, later tonight?
Probably tomorrow or the next day.
Okay, I'll lie low until then. What should we do about...
Her voice trails off as she nods in the direction of the rest of the cabin and Maddie.
Nothing for now. Just try to act normal around her if you can.
So, avoid conversation as much as possible. Easy peasy.
Stand up together and Tara walks me to the front door.
So, see you soon, I guess?
Right.
She leans forward suddenly, giving me another quick hug. My second one today. It's over far too quickly.
Cool. I'll be waiting.
I smile.
Me too.
It's always scary going home and facing the prospect of seeing Evelyn face to face. Today, though, it doesn't seem as bad. There's still a long way to go, but with Tara's help, there's a chance that everything will work out. That's more than I've ever been able to say before. And back to Maddie. So I wonder if Morgan keeping that straight face and that flat, motionless tone I wonder if that's sort of a defense mechanism to almost protect herself. Skies are gray out when I wake up. I check my phone for the time, thinking that it must still be early. But no, it's almost 10. It's the clouds that are making it so dark. We're definitely in for a lot of snow today. It looks like it could be more than any of the previous storms. Sighing to myself, I get out of bed and get dressed without wasting any time. There's no way I'm going to be able to see Abigail today, not with the weather as it is. I hope she won't wait up for me. It's frigid in the living room. I spent a while trying to fix the heater, but to no avail. I don't even know what's wrong with it. Tara must have had it pretty rough, too. At least she could bundle up in blankets to keep warm. The door to her room is shut, so she's either gone or still asleep. I'm glad that things have improved between us. She seemed to have a change of heart or something, because a couple days ago she started making small talk again. Even her argument over the footage wasn't as explosive as it could have been. If it had happened 3 days prior, we probably wouldn't be on speaking terms at all anymore. I make myself a bowl of cereal and have a quiet breakfast alone. Believe it or not, this is pretty good in terms of the coughing. It was worse. I mean, before my voice sounded horrible and I could barely talk for 5 minutes without coughing. So this is an improvement. Although I've gotten used to not interacting with Tara much, there were still my visits with Abigail to look forward to. Now there's no telling how many days it will be until the weather's cleared up enough for me to go see her again. Hopefully it'll blow over quickly. It's already starting to snow a little. Just to pass the time, I move my laptop out into the living room and start an episode of a show I've been meaning to watch. Keep one headphone out so that I'll be able to hear if Tara leaves her room. She never does. After 2 episodes, I get up and knock on her door. Unsurprisingly, there's no answer. I take a quick peek inside. Empty. She must be at Morgan's again. At this point, it's pretty obvious that they're more than friends. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's none of my business, of course. Both adults can do whatever they want, but I can't help being a little envious. It's been more than a year since I've been on a date. Things ended sort of messily with my last girlfriend, and since then, I haven't really been looking. Working on the show kept me busy enough. Still, it wasn't that I was trying to avoid meeting anyone new. It just didn't happen. Not like Tara. I can't talk to strangers and carry on a conversation straight away. Business stuff, sure. Small talk, no way. I've always been a bit jealous of that. So seeing how quickly and how naturally Morgan and Tara ended up together feels like a painful reminder of my own social inadequacies. I guess there's an expiration date on their relationship, whatever it may be, though. It's hard to believe that we're already halfway through our trip in Eisenfeld. It occurs to me that I'm in a similar situation with Abigail. Although our friendship is nothing like Morgan and Tara's, it's also time limited. That thought hurts, more than I expected it to. I wish there was some way she could come back with us. I wonder how difficult it is to smuggle a ghost internationally. That's the kind of problem Tara would be great at solving, if she was around. In fact, I wonder if maybe I should take this opportunity to try to mend things with her. Assuming Abigail was okay with it, I could take Tara to meet her. While not quite as dramatic as the forest spirit, having a genuine ghost on film would still be a huge win for the show. It's a little funny to me that an actual ghost is mundane compared to what else we've seen. I'm not entirely convinced on the idea. There's still some appeal to keeping the news to myself for at least a little bit longer. A knock at the front door interrupts my TV watching.
Coming!
I undo the latch and come face to face with Evelyn again.
Good afternoon.
Dagger smile.
Hi there.
My previous encounter with her on the way back from the church flashes through my mind and sets me on edge. There's a man I don't recognize with her too, adding to my unease.
We heard there was an issue with the heater, so we've come to fix it. Don't want you freezing to death out here.
Her demeanor is a 180 from last time. I wonder which of them let her know. Maybe Tara mentioned it earlier today.
Oh, thanks. That'll be a big help.
Aren't you going to let us in?
I realize I'm blocking the doorway and step back to make room. It's technically her cabin. I don't really have a right to say no.
Yeah, sorry.
The guy with her brushes past me and heads to the heater, getting right to work. Meanwhile, Evelyn and I both sit down in the living room. I stare at the floor, hoping that she'll start the conversation. But she seems content to just look around the room, admiring the decorating. When she clears her throat, I flinch.
I'm very sorry for the discomfort it must have caused. Even a single night without the warmth can be most unpleasant.
She stares at me intently, like she's hoping for me to catch some hidden meaning. Whatever it is lost on me.
It's fine. It was just one night. Thanks for taking care of it so fast.
Of course. Are you the only one home today?
Yeah. Tara's out.
I can't imagine that Evelyn doesn't know about her and Morgan, or at least that the two of them have been spending so much time together. She and Morgan live in the same house, after all. But Evelyn's eyebrows raised.
Is she now? My daughter said your friend was here. She wouldn't be foolish enough to venture into the woods on her own, would she? The weather's looking quite dire.
My mouth goes dry. Even Tara wouldn't be that reckless, right?
I don't think so.
Good. Only a fool would go out in this.
As if on cue, a heavy gust of wind blows, making the whole cabin creak. Through the window I can see the snowfall has already gotten heavier. Thick, heavy flakes mask the glass and obscure the view outside. The workman finishes up and moves closer to the couch. He still hasn't said a word since he arrived.
Seems we're finished here. Do take care, Madison. And don't hesitate to call if you need help with anything else.
Will do. Thanks.
The two of them leave as abruptly as Morgan always does. The moment the door shuts behind them, I leap up and head for the landline phone. I don't know what that was about at all, but it's obvious there's something more going on than I'm aware of. Something sinister. There's a small scrap of paper jammed underneath the phone with Morgan's phone number scribbled on it. I dial and wait, praying that the weather won't render the phones useless. It rings and rings and rings, but doesn't pick up. Eventually it goes to a generic voicemail message delivered in an automated voice.
Damn it!
Send the phone back to reset it and then dial again.
Please, please, please.
If she's not there, if she's not with Morgan, then I don't know what I'll do. I don't know where else she could be. On the third ring, the phone clicks as someone answers. It's garbled and hard to hear her, likely because of the storm.
Morgan?
The person on the other line said something unintelligible.
Hello?
It's just barely clear enough for me to hear my name.
Yeah, it's me. Hey, listen, is Tara with you?
There's another pause and then some staticky noise. Then a beep as the line goes dead. Frantically, I hit the redial button. This time she picks up on the first ring.
Hey, it's me. Is Tara with you?
There's a noise, but I can't tell if it's her answering me or just interference.
Sorry, what?
Again, the only response is garbled nonsense. Of course! I try to talk to her several more times, but nothing is intelligible. I don't even know if she can hear me. The call drops again, and this time I don't bother calling back. I could try to send her an email, but it'll take forever before the webpage loads enough for me to do that. I try to make myself calm down. Logically, she's got to be with Morgan. There's nowhere else she'd go. Evelyn must have missed her somehow. Go to one of the windows, using my sleeve to brush away the fog that veils the glass. It's already a blizzard out there, snowing harder than anything I've ever witnessed. That's when I see her. A flash of red hair over by the tree line. Tara. She's just standing there? When she notices me, she waves. What the hell is wrong with her? I pound on the glass, pointing downwards to indicate that she should come in.
Come inside, you moron! What are you doing?
I know she can't hear me, but she keeps waving. Then she turns and walks into the forest. What the hell? She's lost it. She's absolutely lost it. I fight against the wind just to open the door.
Tara!
My voice is swallowed up by the wind. There's no way she could have heard me. I try yelling again, but the cold stings my throat. Is this some idea of a joke to her? It's a terrible one, if so. Stepping out the front door, I could barely see her amongst the trees and swirling snow. She's just standing there, waiting for me. I linger, not sure what to do. I can't just leave her there, but going out in this would be asinine. She waves again, more urgently. She clearly wants me to follow her. Maybe she needs my help. Maybe someone's been injured. Still, storm. Every second I'm out here, the cold seeps a little bit further into me. I need to decide. Clench my fists. If nothing else, I know that Tara would come for me. Bracing myself, I start walking towards her. It's nearly impossible just keeping my balance or remaining upright is a chore. Every step I take feels like a battle against nature. Slowly, though, I do it. Once she sees that I'm following her, she starts walking again. I wish she'd wait for me to catch up so she could at least tell me what's going on. Okay, I'm wondering if this is an illusion that Evelyn casts on Maddie, if we believe what Morgan has said. When I cross the tree line, the wind gets noticeably better, although the cold is no less bitter. Tara doesn't seem phased. She's still forging ahead, always in the distance, no matter how fast I go. Close enough to see, but not close enough to hear. After a few more minutes, I finally start to inch closer to her. I can't feel my hands or my feet, and my teeth won't stop chattering. I need to stop her now. My mouth is shaking too much for me to form any sort of coherent phrases. So I wasn't already genuinely scared. I am now. Then, without warning, Tara stops. She stands completely still, backs towards me. I do my best to push forward, finally making my way to her.
Tara, we have to.
I give up on words. Instead reach out towards her. My fingers are numb and heavy. Before I can touch her shoulder, though, she turns around. My blood runs as icy as my skin. Her face is completely smooth and featureless, like a mannequin. Her clothes, her hair, everything else are a perfect replica. Her voice is an empty void. I wondered if it was something like this. This isn't Tara. This isn't even human. A sharp taste of bile rises in my throat as I stumble back, the pulse. As I stare in horror, she begins to flicker like a light bulb going out.
No. No, 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 no!
This isn't real. This can't be real. This isn't happening. This can't be happening. Still flickering, the thing begins to move. Its shoulders start to shake as it rocks back and forth, tilting its head back slightly. It doesn't make a sound, but its intention is clear. It's laughing at me. That was my thought too, that it's laughing without making a sound. I fall backwards, high and scrambling through the snow that I can no longer feel. I scuttle away from it as best I can, though it doesn't even try to follow me. That wasn't the point. The point was to lure Maddie out of the cabin, into the middle of a storm. It just rocks, celebrating its triumph over me. My shoulder smashes into something hard, sending a stinging pain through me. It's a tree. I try to stand up, but I've lost all sensation in my legs. My fingers grapple desperately, uselessly at the hard earth and slick bark, but I can't find any purchase. I try to stand, and my feet slide from beneath me as I crash back to the ground. Each effort is harder than the last. I try several more times to stand, but I can't. Exhausted, I lie there, cheek pressed against the frigid ground. I can't even feel it. No, 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 this is the last thing you want to do when you're in the middle of a snowstorm like this. My face burns as it's buffeted with more and more snow. My thoughts run ragged. I know how hypothermia works, how fast it can set in. Surprisingly quickly, I'd once read. My body temperature only needs to drop a couple degrees to start shutting down. I can't muster the effort to move. The fake Tara is gone now. The space it occupied is empty. I'm alone. The realization crosses my mind, surprisingly lucid. I'm going to die. This is the end. There is no after this. I've reached the end of my life. Snow accumulates on my body, but parts I can feel burn. I'm grateful for those that I can't. My breath is barely even a wisp of vapor. I try to tell myself that I'm wrong. Someone will find me. I can't die out here. I'm not some mountain adventurer. I'm not the kind of person this happens to. I can't freeze to death. I can't. But I'm going to. What about Tara and BT and my family? I can't just leave them all behind because I ran too far into the woods. That's just not how this works. You notice that the screen is slowly getting darker? I try to push myself back up, but I can't move my arms. I can't move anything. I'm sure that if my body allowed me, I'd be crying. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. My consciousness fades. Piercing light that should be unpleasant, but isn't, shines in front of me. I will my body to reach for it, but I can't. Then I understand. It isn't meant for my hands to touch. I let go of it all, giving myself up. But then, a sound. Imperceptibly loud, deafeningly quiet. Something vibrant and full of life fills my tired eyes. Blocks the light. And then, Abigail! I knew it! I knew it! An angel appears. Okay, I'm gonna say there just because oh, chapter 3. Okay. I'm not cold. I'm not warm either. I'm not anything. I'm not even sure I'm awake. All I can see is vast, profound blackness. I realize my eyes are shut. Are they frozen shut? I try to move my arms toward my face, but those feel frozen too. With great effort, I manage to wrench my eyes open. I'm flat on my back. Right above me is a familiar curved wood ceiling. Gray smudges in my peripheral vision are the pews where I sat and read with Abigail just days ago. I'm in the church. I try to remember how I got here, but all I have are glimpses of what happened. Waking up alone, the mayor dropping by unannounced, following Tara, not Tara. Even nearly immobile, a shiver creeps up my spine at the thought of that thing. And after that, it comes back to me as an avalanche, running, stumbling, and falling, and being so cold. I can recall the dread as it happened, as I gave up, when strength left my body and my eyelids couldn't bear being open any longer. But how did I get from there to here? There's the sound of rustling cloth from beside me. I force my head to turn to look. And there she is, warm, radiant, just an arm's length away. Abigail. I blink, expecting her to vanish, to be a figment of my imagination. But when my aching eyes open once more, she's still there. Worry wrinkles her face. She saved me, didn't she? There's no other explanation. I muster the strength to smile up at her. She smiles back, though it doesn't reach her eyes.
Hello, Medicine. I'm glad you're awake.
Somehow, that's not good. In the otherwise silent church, her voice rings out like a bell. The first words I've heard her say. I can hear her. We can speak to each other. Understanding pierces through my exhaustion. With that understanding comes a whole cascade of realizations. A million feelings rush through me, and I don't know what order to process them. Two concepts stand out among everything else. Her voice is lovely, soft and gentle like she is. I must be dead.
Abigail?
I mumble out the only coherent thought that I have. She slides from the bench she was sitting in to the ground, kneeling on the floor beside me.
That's right. I'm here.
She leans over me, the serene portrait of a heaven-sent angel. She's here. That can only mean one thing. My head doesn't hurt. My back isn't sore, despite spending lying on this cold stone floor for hours. I can hear and speak with Abigail.
I died, didn't I? And you saved me and brought me back here?
She rubs her face, a pained look on it that she can't brush away.
You're not quite dead, but you're not alive either. Rather, you're somewhere between life and death.
Okay. I was wondering if that was the case, because I was like, you can't kill her off. No, no!
Like me. That's the best way I can put it.
I can tell that her tone is supposed to be optimistic, but to me she sounds entirely too cheerful for someone narrating my own demise. Still, I suppose this is better than the alternative.
Then, thank you.
The smile gets just a little smaller.
Please don't mention it. Really, I'm sorry that we hadn't been just a little bit faster. If we had arrived sooner...
We? Who's we? She looks away, guilt twisting her face.
It's okay. It's not your fault.
Even in my adult state, I know that much. I shut my eyes, hoping that this might be a dream, and that when I open them, I'll be safe and sound in my bed at the cabin. I'm not, of course. There's nothing above me but stone. I force myself to sit up. The motion catches her attention, and Abigail lunges forward, ready to catch me if I fall.
Oh, don't strain yourself.
But there's still no pain or soreness. Instead, it's like each individual part was switched off, and I have to reactivate them. Maybe that's not far from the truth. Once I've sat up, I'm able to stand without any issue. The heaviness falls away like a blanket.
I think I'm okay.
To demonstrate, I pace back and forth a couple steps, feeling like I'm just stretching my legs. I reach out and flex my fingers, staring at their strange, glimmering transparencies. The whole time she watches intently, poised to intervene if anything goes wrong. Nothing does. I'm fine, relatively speaking. I look towards Abigail for approval with the most earnest smile I can muster. She visibly relaxes. I then sit down on one of the pews. Abigail sits down beside me. It's just bizarre. Despite years of existential dread, I don't know how to feel about my own past tense death. Well, Abigail did say that's not quite death. It's just not exactly life either. Obviously, it's going to be a bit more complicated. Got to be a bit more complicated than that. But right now, it's helping to soften the blow a little bit. I look down at my hands. They're normal and clean, not bloating and turning purple like in the last few moments. The rest of me seems similarly plain. Apparently, I was well preserved. There's one difference I wonder about, though. Press my finger to the stone that we're sitting on. At least I try to. But my hand just passes through. It doesn't feel like anything. Right. Next to me, Abigail does the same thing, pressing her hand in up to her wrist. She giggles and my heart skips a beat. Oh boy, I was not expecting this at all. This is... oh, wow. Now what?
I'd forgotten how it feels at first. It's kind of wondrous.
Oh, she's so cute.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Once you get used to it, it's really quite convenient. It'll just take a bit of time.
Abigail stands and gives me a huge smile, probably not realizing just how scary that thought is to me. I don't really want to spend however long it takes to get used to it like this. She's clearly excited to talk. I am too, regardless of the circumstances. So I won't spoil the moment. Yet.
How long has it been since then? Since I... you know...
Even thinking of the word died causes my throat to constrict with terror. It's not death, I remind myself. If I can feel afraid, then it can't be death.
It's been over a day. You've been unconscious this entire time. I was afraid that perhaps I'd done it wrong. That you might not ever wake up.
But here I am.
I can see her eyes sparkle with tears. Despite the fact of standing right here, even the thought of my demise almost makes her cry.
Yes, here you are.
How did you do it? I remember thinking that I was going to die, for sure.
She looks away from me, fidgeting with her dress.
As I said, we arrived too late to save your life. The cold had already set in, and you were so far from home. But we were able to save your spirit, your soul, the important part of you. And that's what you are now.
A spirit?
She nods.
That's what you are too, right?
Another nod.
Exactly.
Her voice is gleeful. I can tell she's excited by this. I can't blame her. After 200 years of solitude, I'm sure that I would be too. But for me, well, this is a nightmare wrapped in irony. I came to Eisenfeld as a skeptic, and now I'm this. It's so overwhelming. What will my parents say, or my friends back home? And what about everything else I left behind? I never prepared a will or anything like that. I don't know what to think, what to feel. I suppose I should be grateful that I'm not truly dead. But at the same time, I don't know what I'm missing out on. Maybe it would have been preferable. I wish I could have at least said goodbye, especially to Tara. There's so much left unsaid. Wait, Tara. With a jolt, I turn to face Abigail. She flinches at how suddenly I move.
Do you know if Tara's safe? My friend, the one who came here with me. I thought I was following her into the woods, but it was...
The image of that fake Tara comes to mind, and with it a wave of dread. And the memory of it is repulsive simply in how false it was, how unnatural.
She's fine. As far as I know, she was never in any danger at all. I'm so sorry, Madison. You were tricked.
Yep.
Right.
I relax a little bit. Tricked.
Tricked by... by whom?
Abigail looks uncomfortable once more.
I'm not sure what name she uses now. The mayor of the village.
Okay.
Whatever you know her as.
Okay, so that just lends credence to what Morgan told Tara.
Evelyn.
So she's responsible. I'm not surprised in the least. The way she always seemed like a snake, coiled and ready to pounce. The bad feeling I got every time I interacted with her. She must have come by the cabin just to scope me out. She had probably been planning this all along. I shudder.
Who is she really? Why would she want to kill me?
I'll explain it later, but I promise you don't have to worry about her anymore.
Clearly that's supposed to make me feel better, but it doesn't. Yeah, she's not a threat anymore, but only because she succeeded. I want to understand. I need to understand. Why would she want me dead? I guess I'll find out in time.
I just have one other question. Earlier, when you were talking about saving me, you kept saying we. Who else?
That's what I've been wondering. Now her eyes gain that previous mischievous gleam that I've started to recognize on her.
Someone special. I'll take you to meet them if you feel you're ready for it.
So I'm predicting it's the forest spirit.
I think so.
There's nothing to be accomplished by sitting around feeling sorry for myself right now. I spent enough of my time in Eisenfeld doing that as it is. Plus, I'm curious to see who might have helped Abigail. Who else could have known about her this whole time and kept her a secret? I stand up and absent-mindedly offer a hand to Abigail to help her up, too. She takes it, then drops it immediately. Eyes wide and awestruck, she stares as if I sprouted a tentacle from my arm. Wooden hearts. I wonder if that's supposed to be like the love thing. Tears spring to her eyes, seeping out to form a thin river down her face.
What is it? What's wrong? Did I hurt you?
She just hasn't touched anyone.
Your hand. I can feel it.
I knew it. I knew it. She's right. It's not even registered as different to me. For the first time since we've met, I can actually touch and feel her there. She grabs my hand again, not standing. She closes her eyes as her fingers roam over mine, taking in the sensation. With anyone else, anyone on Earth, it'd be awkward, but somehow, with Abigail, I don't mind. It's a little endearing, in fact. After a moment, she seems to realize what she's doing. With a yelp and a sheepish expression, she lets go.
I'm sorry, Madison. I just got so carried away for a moment.
It's fine. Really.
My skin still tingles with the feeling, vivid because of the absence of anything else. Abigail also gets to her feet without my help. Together we face the doors of the church. They look like they've been untouched since I was last here, with Morgan and Tara. I wonder how they're taking it. I wonder if they even know yet that I'm gone. It's quite possible Tara hasn't even come by the cabin. Could be days before she knows. Push those thoughts out of my head, though. It doesn't make a difference at this point. I'm still alive and cognizant, at least in some capacity. And as long as that's true, then there's a hope that maybe I can get out of this situation. All I can do is hope and learn. Swallowing my fear as much as I can, I take the first step towards the door.
Should we go meet your friend then?
It's calm outside. In the day or so that's passed, the weather seems to have also mellowed out. A thick layer of fresh snow coats everything, looking fluffy and inviting. Gone. few clouds darken the sky overhead, but are nothing compared to the maelstrom that I got caught in. The occasional flakes that fall seem serene, not threatening. Of course, it passed right through me. Abigail leads me into the woods. I try not to pay attention to how I can't hear my footsteps in the snow, or how the cold doesn't bother me. It's convenient, sure, but it's wrong. The two of us walk side by side, deeper and deeper into the forest. This will be the farthest I've ever gone, since previously I'd never passed the church. Just like Morgan a few nights ago, Abigail seems to know exactly where she's going.
Abigail, can you tell me a bit about what it's like now? Being a ghost and all.
Abigail's face lights up as she clasps her hands together. Her steps become an eager skip.
Of course! I'd be happy to.
She clearly means it.
Where to begin? I found it to be quite convenient personally. As I said before, we're not ghosts per se. Or at least, not in the conventional way. Which is to say, we're not dead. It's more like we're somewhere between life and death. You and I are now fundamentally bound to the forest, and to everything else in it. In the forest, everything is connected.
She frowns deeply, puffing out her cheeks.
This is harder than I thought.
I laugh. I guess even after centuries, she's never expected she'd have to explain all this to someone.
It's fine. Take your time.
Everything in the forest is connected. The trees, the grass, the birds, the foxes, everything. And that includes you and I, too.
Connected? How?
Abigail chews her lip as she tries to think of how to explain it. Her frown returns, deeper than before. Finally, she just shrugs.
Magic.
Magic.
That makes sense.
Pleased, Abigail nods. I still don't know what to think. I've only just woken up. I don't know how long it'll take for me to process everything and accept it, or if I ever will. Everything she says makes sense on a conscious level. I'm sure I could ace the test if someone were to ask me questions about it. But I start to think about how it affects me, about how these are now the restrictions and limitations that bind me. I stumble over nothing and clutch at my chest, feeling sick, but it's an impotent gesture. It doesn't help me feel any better. How? How can I be dead? How did this happen to me, of all people on Earth? This isn't fair. It isn't fair. I never wanted any of this. I never even wanted to be here. I can't keep my thoughts from spiraling. Every time I try to think about it, I'm just met with memories of dying and of fear. Fear for myself and for the future and what it might hold. Abigail rushes over, rubbing my back as she croons in my ear.
Madison, it'll be all right. I promise. I know it's a lot to take in, but it'll be okay. I'm here for you. I'm here.
I'm here. She repeats those words over and over, stroking my back until the moment passes. Dizziness fades in waves, and I slowly stand back up. Yeah. It's understandable that Madison would need time to accept it. In all, my little episode must have lasted seconds at most, but it felt so long.
Madison, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine now. Or at least better. Thanks.
Her hand doesn't leave my back.
Are you sure? We don't have to keep going right now. We could save this for another day.
I brush away the notion.
It's fine. Let's just keep going. If I just sit and do nothing, I'm sure I'd feel even worse.
If you're sure...
We resume our trek. The silence drags on for a while. Abigail shoots me glances every now and then, as if I'll disappear if she looks away for too long. In a morbid way, it's kind of funny. I looked at her the same way not too long ago, but she was bright and radiant, and I'm dead, I guess. Brings a question to the forefront of my mind.
Earlier,
Abigail stops. I try to avoid eye contact.
you said something earlier about Tara. How how it wouldn't be possible for Tara to even see me.
Correct.
She speaks with measured words. Despite how excited she's been, she's visibly holding herself back. Like any wrong word will set me off again. It's not too far from the truth.
But I was able to see you, even before all of this happened. So why couldn't she see me?
Abigail lights up again, a look of pride beaming across her face.
That was projection. I've had a lot of practice. I'd be happy to teach it to you too, but it took me some time to learn.
I see.
Decades. Abigail laughs nervously, trying to hide her slip. We lapse into an uneasy silence again. I take deep breaths, trying to distract myself from the hundreds of questions weighing on my mind. But my breaths feel empty, the lack of cold wind glaringly absent if I focus on it. So I focus on Abigail. She leads the way confidently. A passive smile rests on her face, and she looks more at ease now than I've ever seen anyone be. Every step she takes seems to push us forward farther than any natural pace. The words she said earlier were playing in my head about how the forest will help take us to our destination. We pass through a tree, but when I look back, it's meters away, if not out of sight completely. Magic. Being able to simply pass through any obstacles we encounter makes the walk much faster. Even so, I automatically step over debris or turn my shoulder completely to avoid scraping the trunk of a tree when I can. I feel the heaviness in my chest start to fade as we trek on. Abigail catches my glance and smiles warmly. I smile back, genuinely now.
Did you spend much time in the forest when you were alive?
I did. However, I never traveled very far. Why do you ask?
I was just thinking about how you know your way around so well. It kind of reminds me of the girl I met here in the village, Morgan.
I've had plenty of time to see it all. It's simple too, once you know how to do it. As long as you know where you're going, the forest will guide your way there. I'm certain you'll get the hang of it someday.
I force an agreeable smile. In spite of everything, talking feels good. Talking about anything. So I try to keep the conversation going.
What was Eisenfeld like back then?
Much the same as it is today, as far as I can tell. Quiet and isolated. We rarely had any visitors. Even news of the outside world, or the rest of the country, was slow to arrive. But I longed for it. For the stories that would occasionally make their way to us. Sometimes friends of my father would head into the city for a few weeks, taking the goods that we had grown and made to trade, and bringing back things we lacked. And they'd return with gifts for all of the children, my sister and I, or the little boy across the road. Gifts and stories about wondrous devices they'd seen, or about the marvelous people they met.
Her steps slow and then come to a stop, and her eyes take on a far-off, dreamy look.
When I was alive, I always wished to see it for myself someday. Instead, I had to satisfy myself with books, and with other people's stories.
Her voice trails off, ending with a hum of satisfaction, remembering something but not speaking it. I wait quietly. It doesn't feel like the kind of moment that I should interrupt. Soon enough, she looks over at me with what I've come to think of as her typical smile.
I'm sorry. I hadn't really thought about these things in a while.
It's okay. I hope they're not painful memories.
She shakes her head.
These ones aren't.
Aww.
What about you? There are so many things that I want to know, but I hardly know where to begin asking.
Abigail points up to the sky, devoid of any clouds right now.
Machines soar overhead day and night, but I've never known what they are. Or watching as Eisenfeld becomes more modern, but not understanding. I want to understand!
She looks at me expectantly, like I could quickly rattle off all the major inventions since her time and how they've changed our lives. From the way the corners of her eyes glimmer with tears, it's clear just how badly she wants to know. It must be horribly frustrating. She mentioned machines overhead. She must mean airplanes and satellites. How unbelievable would it sound to her that an enormous metal craft can fly through the sky and carry hundreds of people? Or about cars and how just about everyone owns one. I'd need another 200 years and then some just to catch her up on what she's missed. And thinking about that for just a second, I feel like maybe I understand her loneliness a little bit better. Abigail quickly straightens up, maybe realizing that she's being kind of childish. She adjusts her impeccable collar and dodges my eyes.
I'm sorry. Again. That can wait.
You're fine. I'm sure I'd feel the same way in your position. After we meet your friend, I'll tell you everything you want to know. Or at least everything I can. I'm not exactly the best storyteller, and I'm not very good at explaining why things work, but if that's still enough?
I phrase it like a question, even though I already know what her answer will be. Sure enough, she springs towards me, skipping past like a stone.
Oh, would you? I'm sure you're wonderful at telling stories. I could tell from the way you read to me back at the church. Do you remember?
Like I could forget. That's a day I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Is it? Why's that?
She crowds up close to me now. To be honest, she reminds me a bit of a film camera. Zooming in, then out, leaping past to focus on something else.
Well, that was the first day that we spent time together, right? And that's when you showed me your name.
Abigail goes very still. Several times she looks like she's on the verge of saying something, her mouth fluttering or her half gesturing something, but each time she stops.
I suppose it was. I just didn't realize it was that significant to you.
Of course it was. That day changed everything for me.
I bite my tongue from saying more. Things didn't exactly change for the better. Deeper and deeper we go, and the forest gradually grows quieter. The rustling of creatures underfoot get less and less frequent, and then stop entirely. The birds chatter less, and then not at all. Even the wind settles down. Abigail is the only one who doesn't act any differently. She still hums to herself or glances over her shoulder to make sure I'm still there. Like I have anywhere else to go, right? As we get further into the woods, the snow is thinner, and some places are totally without it. There are even a few patches of green, something that I'm pretty sure shouldn't be possible given the weather. The trees, which have been growing claustrophobically closer together, start to spread out a bit more. I gasp when I see what's ahead of us. A grove of immense trees, larger than any I've seen before, lies before us. Like the redwoods back in America, they're so huge as to seem to hold up the sky. Totally bereft of snow, a few defiant branches hold leaves. They cast shadows over Abigail and I, and everything around us. An aura of life pervades the area. My skin prickles. The sensation is vivid, running up my arms like a spark. More than the church, where we are now feels like a holy place, something sacred and primal. As we pass by, I have the distinct feeling that I'm being watched from all sides. The back of my neck is slick with sweat, and I brush my forehead as the pressure of being observed starts to hit me harder.
What is this place?
I don't mean to, but my voice comes out as a whisper.
We're at the center of the forest now. These trees are the oldest ones here. They're the ancestors of all the rest. All of the life in the forest comes from here.
I believe it. There's a quiet vibrance to this place. I walk a little bit slower, feeling as if I don't want to cause a disturbance. I trail behind Abigail, who seems totally indifferent to the atmosphere. It makes sense. She's probably used to it, and this place's luster has worn off for her. I can't help but gape. Without the snow that I've gotten so used to elsewhere, this feels like a wholly different place, another world altogether. Abigail leads me around one of the massive trees, and my jaw drops even further. There, crouched in a small clearing, is the forest spirit from the other night, the same one that stood in the storm and scared the hell out of Tara and me. I was right. I figured it was them. Wow. Somehow it's much smaller now than it was then, though still several feet taller than me. Yet one look into its piercing red eyes, and I know it's the same. It had been looking away, but turns to face us. Its body creaks and crackles as it moves, like an old door rattling in the wind. My breath catches in my throat as I fight down the instinctive rising terror. Pocks and scars decorate the bark that forms its skin. It has a vaguely human form. Its body is clearly wooden. Little trees wind together, interlocking to shape its body. It regards me with a kind of indifferent stare, similar to when we first witnessed it at the church. The impossibly red glow of its eyes is subtle now, and the previously winding and dying trees look more like its body is merely hugging itself. I looked at Abigail to see her reaction, but she just watches the two of us with a slight smile, waiting to see what happens. That's when it hits me.
This is your friend?
That's right.
She acts as plainly as if she just introduced me to a fellow human, not a mystical creature. Abigail leaves aside to go to the spirit, so she nuzzles her head against its side like a cat.
This spirit is the guardian of the forest. It helped me save you, just like it saved me long ago.
Oh boy. I kind of wondered it shifts slightly to accommodate her, standing a little bit taller. It makes no vocalizations though, nothing close to speech.
I see.
I don't really. Visions of his tall, unimposing profile against the stormy sky really clash with what's in front of me now. But still, I know she's telling me the truth. Take a fraction of a step forward, expect it to bare its teeth or warn me off somehow. It doesn't react though.
Does it have a name?
If it does, I don't know it. I just think of it as the forest spirit.
Fitting. Think back to how Morgan had first described it, as if the forest itself had come alive. I don't think she knew just how right she was. Its namelessness makes it feel even more wild and untamed. I can feel myself being regarded and judged by it, and I am tempted to turn tail and run. I force myself to look up and to meet its gaze. When it stands still, it's unnervingly silent. It reminds me of a grotesque scarecrow in a sense. From my peripheral vision, I can see Abigail look between the spirit and I, probably wondering if she should say something more, or knowing her, wondering what to say. I preempt her.
I've come to say thank you for intervening and for saving me. Abigail told me that you helped. I don't really know how I can ever repay you. I owe you my life. Or, well, whatever's left of it.
I'm not sure what I could even offer a supernatural tree spirit to begin with. Its eyes watch me, impassive. I swallow the lump in my throat and keep talking.
I don't know what happens now, either. I'm still getting used to all of this. But, again, thank you.
Then, not knowing what else to do, I bow stiffly and step backwards. Still, it doesn't react. Of course it doesn't. The whole thing is awkward and uncomfortable, but as with everything else, I'm at a loss. Can't have a conversation with the thing, and the details of what exactly it did are sparse. It feels like a waste to have come all this way for just a few sentences, but I'm not sure I even understood those. It occurs to me that I have no idea how much the forest spirit knows, or even cares, about the affairs of humans. I guess it must care at least a little, since I'm here. The spirit turns its head to face Abigail, who smiles and pats its side. She says something to it, but I'm too far away to hear what. Then, as wordless as ever, the spirit rises and lumbers off into the forest without a second acknowledgement. Abigail watches it go. Then she turns and faces me with a bright smile.
So what did you think?
She has all the pride of a child with a new toy. I stare after the spirit, still barely visible between the trees.
I don't really know what I think. I'm part grateful, part terrified, part shocked. When I saw it before, I thought it had to be a monster or something. It just seemed so ferocious and huge that I assumed it was evil. So seeing it like that is weird.
It's certainly intimidating at first. When we first met, I was also rather fearful, but I quickly realized how kind and gentle it was. At least towards me.
I'm still brimming with curiosity over Abigail's own history, but she's made it clear that she doesn't want to tell me yet, so I won't pester her about it.
Why wasn't it enormous this time?
It can make itself larger or smaller at will. The night that you saw it, it must have had a reason.
And you're able to talk to it? And understand it?
Not quite. I speak to it and it understands me, but it doesn't have any words or language. Some of its mannerisms I've picked up over time. We've had quite a long time to get to know each other after all.
That's true.
Right.
Sad. Abigail walks over and links her arm around mine. I sorrow at the touch, but more so how casual she is about it.
Ready to go back to the church? Unless you'd rather stay here, in the forest. I imagine you'd be more comfortable with walls and a roof around you for now, though.
Yeah, I would be. Let's go back.
Arm in arm, she leads the way back. And switching to Morgan. And I'm going to actually stop here
God damn it.
because it's been 2 hours and I've been coughing a lot, as you notice. So, yeah. Let's see, extras, gallery, chapter 1, yeah. Yeah. Doo-doo. There we go. There's the forest spirit, the first glimpse of it. Okay, I can see the two different eyes now. I can kind of see the resemblance. There we go. Aww. Yeah. Nothing too risque. And then there's Abigail. Okay. Okay. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining me and for watching this if you're watching this on YouTube. I will try to get this up on YouTube. I don't know if I'm going to stream on Wednesday. We'll see how I'm feeling. But yeah, everyone take care, and hopefully I will be able to get back into streaming, and hopefully next week I won't be coughing quite so much. Though honestly, this has been pretty good. So take care and have a good 2024. Bye.